So I am a general ophthalmologist. I specialize in cataract surgery and specifically refractive cataract surgery. So I have a very premium practice and high end. We use a lot of technology, femtosecond lasers, all the best IOLs, torics, multifocals. But I also concentrate on other procedures and devices as an anterior segment surgeon. So for example, like MyLoop and a lot of the different MIGS procedures like iStent inject, for example. Cahook dual blade, things like that. So in my experience as an ophthalmic surgeon, I bring that to the table when I'm working with the development of these different SimulEYE models. So I know what something's supposed to look like and feel like and act like, and I have experience with those models, with those devices rather, as I'm developing the models for them. So a great example of that would be the MyLoop model. So we've worked with Zeiss on that model. They've used several different models over the years to try to train surgeons on it, and I was trained on one of those models, and I became a MyLoop user myself, and I just saw a lot of deficiencies in what they were using. And so it took me a long time, but I was able to develop the key components that we needed to really work with that MyLoop device inside the eye, and that required not only a more realistic lens nucleus, but more importantly a capsule complex that worked with the nucleus so that we could get all the right feel and visualization of putting the MyLoop in and sweeping it around, rotating the lens, doing multiple cracks, and that's what we developed this MyLoop model for. And so again, that was done partially behind the scenes without Zeiss, but also the final touches were done in conjunction with Zeiss and what they wanted to show and train and how they wanted to use it. And so we came up with the technology to develop this capsule inside here that we have lenses that go into in combination with viscoelastic, and it really gives the right feel of the loop passing around the capsule with that delay kind of rotating past the midpoint. You can see the wires sweep behind the lens. You can crack the lens with the MyLoop device and then rotate the lens and crack it again. And all the teaching points that go into that are where to hold the device and how to rotate it and how to close the loop. All those teaching points are able to be demonstrated on the MyLoop model. Another great example are our MIGS models. I've worked closely with the MIGS companies like New World Medical developing the model for the Cahook dual blade. We worked directly with Dr. Malik Cahook and getting the right meshwork feel so that meshwork could actually be excised from the canal in a more realistic fashion. And there really just isn't anything else that matches that realism of trying to excise the tissue from the meshwork. And then on the other side of MIGS, we have other devices like iStent inject that we've worked closely with Glaukos and their team to get the right material that we can actually implant those stents in and understand different techniques like the flush technique and over implanting and under implanting when we're bouncing stents and trying to get that right feel and positioning. All of those things are really are possible with the model and designs that we put into these models, and that only comes about with that collaboration with the industry that we work with, and also that I'm able to work with a lot of these devices myself ahead of time. I get trained, I work with them, and then I develop the models to help train other surgeons. And I think it's been very successful that way, and we're happy to bring a lot of value to other anterior segment surgeons. And of course we're working in posterior segment as well, and I have colleagues that I can bounce stuff off of and get their input on some of the techniques and the devices and so forth that I don't do myself. But I still have that basic fundamental knowledge that really impacts how we go about developing these and working to develop in regions that I don't have that particular expertise in. But I think that's a big advantage and a big thing that distinguishes us at SimulEYE, is that I can bring that level of expertise to the table when I develop these models.